And Jeff C here. It is Wednesday, October the 22nd. Now we have a really big show tonight, and we'll do it live on Red Pill Revolution. That'll be at 9 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have a lot of guests on, and we're going to be discussing this latest massive psyop that's happening in Canada. Now, is it a false flag? Is it a hoax? I think there's a lot of evidence to suggest this entire thing is staged. The fact that you had somebody who was on their list of 90 potential terrorist extremists here in Canada just yesterday run over two soldiers just outside of Montreal, and then one of them died, of course. And then today you have this brazen attack on the Parliament itself, starting at the War Memorial and then ending up climaxing on the Parliament. And wouldn't you know it, a hero has arisen. This is Kevin Vickers here, and this is no ordinary Canadian guy here. Sergeant-at-Arms of the Parliament is Kevin Vickers himself, as you can see here, decked out in his ceremonial gear, and his staff here, which is for the Queen, of course. And this is the guy that, thank God, as they say here, thank God, Sergeant-at-Arms Kevin Vickers tweets Justice Minister Peter MacKay. Now, Peter MacKay is probably one of the most untrustworthy characters in all of Canada, and I don't have time to go into him here, but he is the Justice Minister, former Defense Minister, full-time scumbag of the New World Order, no doubt in my mind whatsoever. So the tweet started coming out from the Parliament ministers and the MPs saying it was Kevin Vickers, Sergeant-at-Arms Kevin Vickers. Just happened to be this guy that took down the supposed gunman in the Parliament building. And as I've shown before, somehow this guy manages to kill people, quite a distance away. I know it pretty well. I used to work right here. And, get in a car, manage to drive up into the Parliament, run in with a gun, run down the hallway, and somehow get into a massive gunfight with all these RCMP officers within the Parliament building, the main block building, which leads to the maybe I should show that in a picture here. Yeah, I'll show that for you guys so you can see Parliament building. Okay, so if I could show you, just to give you a better example or idea, maybe from the aerial. Let's see if I can get that. Yeah, okay. So let's see here if I can get this to come in clear. Maybe make it a bit bigger. All right, so this will be a good sort of, because you'll be able to see everything here. Nah, stupid thing is screwing up here. Hang on a sec, folks. Yeah, okay, so the War Memorial is over here, okay? And this is where the Grenadier Guards march by, and, they do the march up on the hill sort of thing. And so this is the Parliament building. This is the main building here. And supposedly this happened as he was able to shoot a soldier that was here, then commandeer a car, come up, drive up into the Parliament, go through the main door with guns, or a rifle at least, and then somehow make his way down one of the hallways here that leads directly to this is the beautiful, one of the most beautiful buildings in Canada, the library building of the Parliament House. So, yeah, this happening here, and this guy just happens to be the Sergeant-at-Arms that kills him. He's the hero. The man reported to have shot an assailant on Parliament Hill today is a former police officer with a background in providing security forces for dignitaries, including the royal family. Right? There's why he's got the royal sort of staff here. I don't know what you call that. I know somebody's going to correct me, tell me what it is, but as you can see, this is for representing the Queen, of course, right? Kevin Vickers, 58, became a Sergeant-at-Arms in the House of Commons 8 years ago after a varied career in security. He spent 29 years with the RCMP and rose to rank of Chief Superintendent, often serving as face of the National Police Force in New Brunswick, of course, where they had a massive false flag just recently, right? Before his appointment as Sergeant-at-Arms, Vickers was Director of Security Operations in the House of Commons. So you're talking about a major player in the security forces of Canada, right? An extremely high-ranking guy, and he's just happens to be the hero. And then you just happen to have you know, the Minister of Justice saying, thank God for Sergeant-at-Arms Kevin Vickers. Okay? And so he had previously worked as aide-de-camp for New Brunswick's lieutenant governor. Of course, New Brunswick being run by the Irvings and having that massive false flag. The Sergeant-at-Arms is responsible for safeguarding the authority of the House of Commons as well as the safety and security of the Parliament buildings. As RCMP officer, Vickers has been responsible for security services provided for the Queen and Prince Andrew. On his Twitter, MPs credited Vickers with saving their lives. So these were some of the Twitters from some of the major players in the Parliament. MPs and Staff Hill owe our safety, even lives, to Sergeant-at-Arms Kevin Vickers, who shot attacker just outside the MP's caucus room, said New Democrat Craig Scott. I am safe and profoundly grateful to Sergeant-at-Arms Kevin Vickers and our security forces for their selfless act of keeping us safe, says Veterans Affairs Minister Julian Fantino. Thank God, of course, as I said before, thank God for Kevin Vickers and our Canadian Security Forces. True heroes, says our scumbag Justice Minister Peter MacKay. Vickers' brother, who lives in Victoria, told CBC News that his brother called their mother at their home shortly after the incident to tell her he is safe. And here it is. Brother says, John Vickers says, brother, HOC, Sergeant-at-Arms Kevin Vickers, called his mom, right, whatever, and this is his brother. I just couldn't be prouder of him right now, John said, adding his brother has always been committed to service, people, and country. So service, people first, and then country last. Well, who cares, right? Sergeant-at-Arms, first line of safety. Although Sergeant-at-Arms often operate outside of public spotlight, the events at Parliament Hill are not the first time they have been instrumental in preventing bloodshed in Canadian history. So when a supply clerk, Dennis Lortie, opened fire in Quebec's National Assembly in 1984, the legislator, Sergeant-at-Arms, went into the chamber and tried to calm him and all this, right? The legislator, and they talk about, well, he offered them a cigarette and persuaded him to release a dozen hostages, which is probably another false flag itself. The legislator was minutes away from convening when Lortie entered the building and all that. So that's that old story sort of thing. So there you go with another really suspicious thing. Just happens to be the Sergeant-at-Arms who is the hero of the story. And wouldn't you know it? I mean, that's kind of how it works in these things. You've got to have a hero. You've got to have the narrative that plays out. You've got to have all the snippets that come on the media. The media has to be able to package it and sell it to you, and has to have the photos that stay in your mind and remind you how wonderful our government is. I don't trust this story at all. I'm going to keep doing more work on it. For right now, I think we've got a legitimate sort of false flag potential hoax here. And I'll continue to look into it. Of course, tune into the show tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, and we will have a bevy of Canadian top talent here, truther talent, knocking this thing down, seeing what we can pull together and pull apart here. So thank you very much for listening. Leave your comments below. Make sure you subscribe to the page, and have a wonderful day.